Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is Dawa Addict. Just wanted to make a video to talk to you guys briefly for a minute. As we all know, Islam teaches us that we have a responsibility to help others when they are in need, wherever they may be, whoever they may be. Right now in East Africa there's a serious crisis going on. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on in Africa and what can be done to help. But actually I have a friend who recently explained it much better than I think I would. And so I'm going to let you hear it from him instead, inshallah. So this is my friend Mikhailu. Please watch, please listen, and please do whatever you can to help, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Here's Mikhailu. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, which probably is pretty hard since I just sang a song for all these people, my name is Mikhailu. And I just kind of wanted to talk to you for a quick second about something that I think is pretty important, which unfortunately, I just wanted to talk to you for a second about something that I think is pretty important, which unfortunately hasn't kind of been made into a bigger issue than it actually is. As some of you may or may not know, there is a really serious drought that's going on in East Africa right now, in the Horn of Africa, which includes Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and Somalia. This is the worst drought that the area has experienced in about 60 years. It's incredibly serious. About 10 million people are being affected by this. 2 years of bad rains and bad harvest, plus rising food prices all over the world has kind of led to a situation where a lot of people are basically malnourished. They're not getting enough food. Land's drying up. Livestock are dying by the thousands, and people are essentially starving. And this is probably the worst in Somalia, where there's been ongoing civil conflict for years now because of the Al-Shabaab militia, which has been fighting with the government. And it's gotten to the point where thousands of people literally are leaving Somalia every day, trying to get to a refugee camp in Kenya, a refugee camp called Dadaab, which was made probably for 90,000 people, and at this point has maybe 500,000 people, with another 1,500 or so trying to come into every single day. People are walking, it's so bad, people are walking maybe 30 days to get there, just to get food, water, basic necessities. And the horror story, you hear horror stories of people who actually even make it to the camp. 50% of the children that even get there are malnourished when they arrive, and those are the ones that just make it there alive. The ones, people are always talking about the road to Dadaab is just apparently it's just littered with dead bodies, with children who just starved and parents left them, or people whose family members and friends just died, and they couldn't they couldn't keep going, so they just had to leave them on the side of the road and keep going. And this is a pretty terrible situation. And keep in mind that that's just there's still millions of people in Somalia. Those are just the people who left to go to the refugee camp. There's still millions of people in Somalia who are living under the conditions that caused so many people to leave, and they're really not getting any aid because the government is incredibly ineffective, and the militia has for years kind of denied access to the country to any international aid organizations. So essentially, I'm here. I don't work for any relief organization, and I've never been on the front line of any cause or anything like that. That's not really my thing. The only reason the only reason I'm here right now is because this is particularly affecting me to the point that I've had trouble sleeping for a while now, and the only thing that I could really think of doing was coming and talking to all of you. So here I am, and unfortunately I don't have any overpriced cookies or brownies or bumper stickers to sell to you. I mean, I could name a star after you if you want. Just pick one. And so all I can really do is, I guess, ask you if you can to give anything that you can, anything at all. I'm begging you, if you can give anything, please. I think that, especially now as we are approaching Ramadan, this is this is a particularly relevant issue. These are, I believe, part of the spirit of Ramadan, part of the reason that we fast is to create in us a sense of of empathy, of understanding for people who don't have the luxury of eating every single day, for people who don't have the luxury of eating at all, necessarily. So please, anything you can give at all would be great. I'm going to try and find a box or something to put maybe in that chair over there. By the way, so can you maybe throw some cash in that bag? Is that yeah. Okay, cool. So we're going to put the bag over there, so if you're leaving, like throw some, you know, whatever you got, $1, yeah, a quarter, a nickel. Seriously though, I don't want to see any pennies in there. Okay, if you're gonna go through the trouble of doing this, you better just pull out something more than a penny. Okay, this, if I were to commoditize this action, that's not even worth a penny. Right? We lose money if you put a penny in there. So please don't. I'm just kidding. If you got pennies, go ahead. So the goal is to probably, not probably, but to give the money to Islamic Relief's East Africa program. I like them not just because they're an Islamic organization, but because they're one of the few relief organizations that has been able to actually get into Somalia and, you know, kind of distribute aid there. They're providing food, you know, water, medical care, and things of that nature, shelter, all kinds of stuff. So if you though are more interested, if you can't give now, or if you want to go online or whatever, you know, UNHCR, the refugee organization, is at the camps in Dadaab, and so is UNICEF and Save the Children. There's I know that the International Rescue Committee is also, I believe, in Somalia slightly. So really, whatever you want to do, you know, is really up to you. But please, I beg you to not do nothing. Just even the smallest little thing. I beg you, please, if you can spare a second, do your best. Jazakallah.
If you'd like to donate, please, inshallah, go to irusa.org, or if you're outside the United States, go to islamic-relief.org. Please, whatever you can give, even if it's just a few dollars, I encourage you to do that. And if you can give more, inshallah, that's great. Even if you can't give money, just, you know, keep the people of East Africa in your du'as and your prayers, because that's extremely powerful, and sometimes we don't remember how important prayer is. But if you can give your du'as and you can give donations, it's even better. So inshallah, whatever you can do, just do it, like Khalid said. Just don't do nothing. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Islamic Relief has rehabilitated the water source here. This not only provides water for the village, but surrounding areas as well. We met Barry, who brought our attention to some malnourished children in the village. He took me to see one such child in a hut on the edge of the village.